it was dark and your steps were...
You see like spider webs on candles, and you see like cracky steps leading to other floors.
Is the feeling if I was there by myself, and how it can be scary. And have you ever scared being there?
Because sometimes you're walking, maybe the floor is gonna be just drop, or it's not a ghost, but maybe you can be a ghost.
What is actually dangerous is it's maybe not something that you think about.
Which elements you consider and want to show to the viewer when you are photographing?
It's very nice to be in that kind of place in dark, when it's windy outside and the window shields are cracking.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Girafa podcast show. I'm Jay, and today we have two special guests with us from Finland and France, and also another host with me, Shabnam. Today we're gonna talk about some specific topic. I don't want to take the waste your time, so we will start from the Shabnam to say hi, and then we will go to our guest to introduce. Shabnam, yeah.
Okay, hello. I'm Shabnam. I live in Lisbon, and so enthusiastic for today's interview. Hope everybody join it.
Thank you. And the ladies first for the...
Yes, I'm Tanya. From Abandoned Nordic, which is our project. We are originally from Helsinki, but we are now living in France.
Hi, I'm Kimmo from this same project. We are doing this project as a team, and we are a couple. We live together, and we're quite near each other, a couple meters, but in different rooms, so we don't mess up the recording. So, same project,
same life.
Same life,
same experience.
Different room.
Just a little this. Good. So, I'm living in the Helsinki too, but currently I'm living in the Espoo. I was in the Helsinki. So if you needed something to do, just let me know. I will go check your plans, or if you have a dog or cat, I will go check them. Good. So let's start with this question about how did you first discover this topic and also this project? How did you start? How did this idea came to your mind?
That's a good question. And it started like this. Maybe 8 years ago. I think it was 8 years ago. Me and Tanya, we didn't know each other. And we were both in Indonesia, in this small island, diving. And we met there. We were both there alone. And we met there and did some diving together. And then we came back. We saw each other quite a lot. And at that time, I was working for the Finnish government in a research institute. And I was giving this task to find out what is the current state of some of these Finnish hospitals. And I started approaching this task by, Googling out what these hospitals are doing, where they are, what's the current state. And there were a couple of hospitals that I didn't find any new information. So it was like a black box. I didn't find any relevant information, and it was a little bit weird. And one of these hospitals that I didn't find any information from was quite near us, maybe 45 minutes with a car or 30 minutes with a car. And I asked Tanya one night, maybe she wanted to join me so we could just drive there and I could see what's happening, because I didn't find any information. And we drove there, and no lights on. Door was open. We went in, and at that moment, we both realized that there is this kind of a world of abandoned places. Because for me, I didn't know that we actually in like a adult life, like real life, we have abandoned places. So at that moment, I kind of understood that there is these places that are actually quite interesting, quite unique, really different. And at that time, Tanya was looking for something specific to take photos on. I've been taking photos myself, but I wasn't that passionate about photography at that moment. So this was something nice for Tanya.
Yeah. Do you want to add something, Tanya?
Yeah, maybe about the Instagram start and a bit about the fascination about those places. I don't know, when we get there and when we went inside the building, it felt so much different than normal building that is in use. It was so exciting, and it was something close to a feeling that you have when you watch a real good horror movie, maybe. It was dark and your steps were echoing in the floor, and well, the ceiling was quite good, and we took photos and put them to Instagram, like any other photo, but they got more likes than other topics. And after that, we started thinking that what are the other places that we could see? Is there something else pretty near? Can we go and see them? Can we go abroad to see something different than in Finland? And well, it started from the little, but it went bigger and bigger because we saw other photographers' photos from like places that are like magnificent, something grandiose that we don't have in Finland. We have very modest architecture and not so old architecture. And we both like horror movies, so we kind of try to find the setting that in the movies is, and we can try to find the feelings that we have from those movies to our real life also. Maybe that has taken us to make this for so long. Other reasons too, but the feeling.
Yeah, I just want to ask something because first of all, I'm crazy about the horror movies, but when you when you talk about abandoned, so you mean it's just a building, or still they have a staff and some equipment there? So how?
I think there's like a range of stuff from, let's say, from
like the beds or the shields?
Yeah. Like, let's say there's like a range of abandoned places from like crappy to really great. So we have like really crappy places, like tiny houses that are basically blown up. There's nothing to see. Maybe we have some factories with just concrete and nothing special to see. And then at the other end of the range, we have these time capsules, 100 years old time capsules with every furniture still intact, calendars, books, letters, photos, everything from 100 years ago. So we have everything from here to there. Okay. So I think many people who visit abandoned places, they start from the other end of the range, what are like old houses, maybe some old factories that are not that interesting. But when you start to dig in and you find more places, if you continue with this hobby, you will see some of these time capsules, places that still have these furniture beds. Like perhaps we're going to see some photos of our project. There's stuff there to see that is historical interesting. And then there is other types of buildings as well, many types of buildings as well.
And I want to add that when we started from the other end of the scale, the crappy places, we looked for the photos that were taken from those magnificent places, and we kind of didn't think that it's real. We think that it's set up, that there isn't any possibility that in the world there are those kind of places that aren't taken care by no one. But there are. We have seen it.
So you mean there is a stuff they can use or something, but okay, maybe I should take the address. Maybe I should go check it. Say, winter is coming, and I'm crazy to be a little scared. So sorry, if you want to keep going.
But you've seen horror movies that are like this, that some couple goes in a horror movie. You've seen this, like a couple goes into this old manor house or mansion.
Yeah.
And you see like spider webs on candles, and you see like cracky steps leading to other floors, and like these are, I think, like just like Tanya said, that these places, they aren't real, but when you go into this place, which is actually real, you will have this kind of a dissonance that, okay, we have this kind of a world out there.
Yeah.
It's
so Tim Burton is not just a dreamer; there is some kind of space. Oh, interesting. I need this address. The address for this place, especially the hospital. They are more scary, especially when it's the mental. What's the word? It's kind of mental hospitals.
Yeah.
Is it in Helsinki? Yes.
It's quite near.
Okay, I will find. Because I remember I was living in Vasa for a while, and it was some place because the Vasa is more village or something. So it was the old house. Every time we pass it, there is some kind of the story about this house. I say, okay, maybe we should go check it. No, we are not coming. But we are just listening to the story about this place. So yeah, and about the Helsinki, I didn't have any idea. We can't find this horror movies live here. Go ahead. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Actually, you made me thinking about the horror movies so far I've seen, and even I was always thinking that maybe they are setups, or because they just directed to be like this just for the filming. But so now I'm so curious that is real, and what is the feeling if I was there by myself, and how it can be scary. And have you ever scared being there?
At first,
Have you seen ghosts?
it would be so nice to say that we have, but unfortunately we haven't. We have looked
Yet.
anyway.
Yes.
Very much, but no, they doesn't exist
Oh man.
as far as we know. But it's very nice to be in that kind of place in dark when it's windy outside and the window shields are cracking.
The winter time.
We usually are in different rooms there in the buildings also. Kimmo might explore somewhere in the other floor, and I'm taking photos in the other end of the building. So we aren't there together. And if we hear something, it can be Kimmo in other room, or maybe it's not. It's always possible.
Some people like the feeling of being scared, and maybe we have people who don't. But I think, like, if we go into an abandoned place, I think what we, like me and Tanya, what we are scared about isn't anymore the same thing that we used to be. Like, if you go into this dark, creepy place, you are scared of it. Is there like ghosts or whatever? That's not like the case. Maybe the case for us now is there going to be like a owner, like a guard, police,
Homeless people,
homeless person. Like, so maybe maybe our what we are afraid now in these places is more like realistic stuff that then happens.
Live human.
Yeah. It would be so nice to get back to that feeling when we were scared of the ghosts.
Yeah.
But we can't get back there.
At least you know.
I wasn't scared of the ghost.
I wasn't either.
Yeah. But they,
And so
yeah.
And so I'm just curious because these abandoned places, maybe they have, you talk about safety and something. So how do you consider, because how do you, first of all, how do you research about the safety of the place and accessibility of the place? And what elements you consider as in point of, let's say, safety and even you talk about the photography that doesn't have enough light to take in photo, and what gears you take by yourself to go there and take shots.
Maybe Kimmo can tell a bit more about this, but I want to say at first that we can prepare for something. But the thing is that when we go to the building that we haven't been ever before, we can be prepared for different things, but we can see it just when we get there and not before. So it's always the case when we go somewhere. There can be surprises. It can be something else that we have expected. It can be worse. It can be in the part of collapse. Or it can be quite boring and okay.
Yeah, just like Tanya said. And I think that one key element of visiting abandoned places is that when you go inside of such a place, the usual safety measures, this kind of things that we take in granted in modern society, they don't apply anymore. So if you go into a shopping center, you will always have safety rails, you will always have electricity, you will always have dry floors, you don't have like all owls inside or whatever. But when you go into an abandoned place, and you shouldn't go there, we don't recommend it ever, don't go there. So if you go into an abandoned place, none of these things, they don't apply anymore. So you have to really think about realistically or like in common sense what is dangerous. And what is actually dangerous is it's maybe not something that you think about. So maybe you will get mold in your eye, or you step into a nail, or you scratch yourself into an old window, or you have to look for hunters who are very trigger happy in some forests, and you have to see if there's guard dogs. You cannot, talk to a guard dog. You might have some kind of a juicy meat like a T-bone, but usually we don't carry T-bones around with us. So you have to really think about what is safe and what is not. And these structures, these houses, these places, they are not, they are collapsing. So
the fall maybe can be, yeah.
And it's always the question about making decisions. I was in France like 2 weeks ago. We went 1 week around and checked the places, and one of them was particularly collapsed, and it was the case when I saw the staircase, which is collapsed there. Actually, we have the photo from there in our set. I knew that I could have better photo from the place where the floor wasn't so stable, but I decided not to go there because there was the possibility to drop through the floor. So, yeah, you always have to consider these kind of things, and even if you want to take the photos, it's safety first. You want to take them in the future too.
And I think it's good to not going alone, because still it's gonna be risky. Because I remember we had another guest. He was in the same field, and also it was funny because he had a picture from I don't know, have you seen this the movie The Last of Us? It's about it. So he was in the same the one episode. They're going under the old hotel is full of the water, and so he was there to take a picture from that place. And he was talking about the safety when you're going alone, or we are going some. But he was working alone. It was so risky, but at least you have to. But he said that one of the risks, as the Kimmo said, it's about the safety of your life, because sometimes you're walking maybe the floor is gonna be just drop, or it's not a ghost, but maybe you can be a ghost if you're
Yeah.
not be ready. Yeah, I remember that about the safety. I want to ask something about this particular. Do you have any specific memories about this building? One of them is more interesting or is memorable for you?
Well, at first I want to say that all the memories from this building that we have visited are much stronger than any other feelings. We kind of remember every detail from each of them, which is quite nice, and it means that we are very alert when we are there and taking everything in. And there are many places, like I could say about 10 places which has been the best. We have been in 1,000 places, so it's that percent. So
But you know the
places.
you know the story behind the places, or you just go and discover the place and just see as it is. But if it's any story or story behind that buildings that you ever interested about it, if you want to share with us.
Yeah, sometimes. And I think that different regions or different countries have like similarities in this story. So if you go, for example, in the Baltic states like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, even the eastern parts of Poland and Germany, you will have the story of the Soviet Union and the collapse of Soviet Union. And many of these stories are related to that. And then if you go to France, you will have stories of noble families and families that have collapsed for some reason or another. And you will have more like this private lives and this kind of personal stories. And then if you go to somewhere else, you will have maybe some other kinds of themes. If you would go to United States, you will have much more stories about theaters and mines and that sort of stuff. So I think many regions have similar stories behind those abandoned places. And I think that all of these stories, we don't have time to figure out what is the story behind every building. But if we go to something really special, like something really odd or weird, like that is not something that you will see every day, then we want to know what's the story behind this place. And we know people who really dig into particular places. And then we can also, it's very nice to read stories from places that we've already visited and know things from the past after we visited these places. But all in all, sometimes it's very nice to know the full history, but usually it's very difficult to find out what really happened.
Yeah, I can imagine, because it's not written anywhere, or it's no documentaries about it. It's something that you're doing, to taking photos of these places, is kind of documenting these places. No one before did it. That is really interesting.
And
Would you like to see some picture together, and you can explain it or talk about that? So
It's a large house, yes, in France. Couple
Okay.
nice rooms with this kind of setting.
this is an abandoned room.
Yes.
I can live in this room.
Yeah. That ceiling is not so good, but
No, I can fix the ceiling, but the bed is,
yeah,
and the design was so good. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
it's very French.
Yeah,
French.
exactly. Still,
yeah, there's this place we visited this couple of years ago, and it was a really odd experience because it's actually in center of a quite large city, and it's this kind of a place that people just walk by. There's a lot of people, and you will go into this house inside the back door, like you own it. You just go there, open the door, and you're inside. And it's a really big house, and there's different parts of this house, and you will have this kind of a nice, really French bedroom, and then you will have other types of rooms. Then you will have a collapsed room. You will go through the collapsed room, and you will reach another room, which looks like you said, like you could live there, but it's very like different from different angles. And you will have all the stuff inside. You will have information about who owned it, and a particular detail about this place is that the person who lived here was really keen on this writer, Marcel Proust, the French writer. And this guy or woman, I don't know who read these books, but there were a lot of books about Proust. So it's kind of a romantic place. You can see the photo. It's the place is called Lover's House, and the people really like French classic literature.
Yeah.
And if you read Proust, it's quite romantic.
It's interesting because there is still I can see the watch and the light and lamp, everything still there. Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, that place, I went there 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. The photo was taken like a couple of years ago, and all the windows were open at that time. And 3 weeks ago, I went there, but now they have sealed all the doors. I don't know who has, but they don't maybe want people going around there in the garden with the cameras. Maybe neighbor. I don't know.
Maybe they want to live on that.
Yeah.
Someone lucky to say, why should I
change the lock?
Exactly.
Yeah, this is
Poland.
Yeah. You want to, Tanya, talk about this?
Maybe a bit. You can tell more. This is a family mausoleum of a manor house or palace, maybe. Maybe it was more like a palace. It had all these coffins in, and it's very common in Poland. We have many photos from the coffins and mausoleums from Poland. Those coffins, they didn't had any bodies in, but we pumped there into the coffins with the bodies in also. Which is quite strange from a person who is from Finland, at least. This is a palace in Italy. It has this really nice staircase. Otherwise, it's mostly empty. It's quite large. Maybe we didn't even walk completely through the palace at that time when we went there. At least I spent the whole time, hour and a half, maybe in that staircase because it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
I walked the castle because you were taking the photos in this staircase for a long time. So I had the time to walk around the palace, and I don't know if you noticed from the photo, but it's almost dark inside. So I spent like little less than 2 hours walking inside this dark Italian palace, and it was quite nice. But luckily, with the flashlight, you can search a place, but you really have to be careful not to fall. But still, I for me, it's like I have this idea when I see this photo. It's like it's from some kind of a Dante's hell or something. Like it's really deep underground, but it's a dark place.
Yeah, it is, and it's the painting. It's illusionist painting, also.
Oh, at the wall, yes.
Yeah. But it makes the illusion that you are in the terrace.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's there is the one window which we can see there in the upper part of the photo. Yeah, but that's all. But it has very airy feeling, like you are outside, because it's huge. You can't see the scale of these places without people in the photos, which we usually don't have. But it's huge, and you are like in outside because it's very large.
Yeah, it's a whole like a thing that you will have in these Italian palaces and villas. Is this illusionistic style, and sometimes it's really nice that you have this blue ceiling. This photo had this kind of a original ceiling look, but it had this windows or like a terrace feeling that you can see some kind of a blue shade from the side. But sometimes you can see the ceiling is like painted, that you will have the illusion that you will have like an open sky. And it's you can see it in Italian places. It's quite interesting.
And also when you see pillars in the photos, they might be painted.
Oh, that's a very good location for horror.
I'm happy to see these photos now because I will be, and we will be in Italy. I will be there a little bit longer in 1 week, and this is the one of the places that I might revisit, and also the staircase that we just saw. I'm excited to see what's the state, because you never know.
My question is the kind of the owner, is this one person on the family, or is just belonging to the government, or they don't want to do the hospital? Usually the building should be for the governments, but what about these kind of the place?
We don't know. Many times we don't know, and it's always safer to go to the public building, because you don't know that you know if somebody gets there, it isn't going to be an owner. But in many cases, we are very cautious when we get to the place. If we are not sure that is it abandoned or not, we won't go. Oh. So we have been around many buildings, okay. and trying to find small information details from the building and surrounding, if it's abandoned or not. And even though if it looks like abandoned, there's always a possibility that somebody owns it and doesn't take care or can't take care of the surrounding area or the building, and it would be very bad to be there if somebody comes. But we haven't been in the situation that when the owner walks in when we are photographing a living room of his.
Because especially this one, it's if it was for me, I try to make it some hotel or motel, because it's close to the. Can you see the view? It's so breathtaking. So it's
not Photoshop. It's a real video.
I'm saying, it's a potential for earn a lot of money. But
yeah, but I'm sure that in that particular place they have very many hotels in that lake. So maybe there's too much competition, and that building is quite collapsed. It's totally trashed from inside. So maybe it can't be repaired, or maybe it's too expensive to repair it, and it's not so large either. So maybe the costs are more than you can afford if you can have a room for 4 families. You can't have that much money from the hotel.
So, yeah. Latvia. Yes, nice. This is a common picture you can see in the Finland too. It's close.
Nice buildings.
It reminds me the cabin in the woods.
Yeah. This the photo that you showed before this wooden place is with this winter scene. This is a kind of a public building that was used as a hospital in the Second World War as well. And actually, one of the most famous Latvian horror movies is partially filmed here. So again, with the reference to the horror movies.
And that tree house, we weren't looking. That house, we haven't seen photos and nothing from there. We just accidentally bumped into it. It was there on the roadside, and it was the best lucky find that we have ever had. It's like being like that. Yeah, and just quite
You were so lucky to find this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a theater.
Polish.
Polish.
Yeah. That one is the place that I had to consider about the floor, which
Yeah.
I would have wanted to go a little bit to the right, but it wasn't safe anymore to be there. So
Yeah, it's obvious
it's
here.
from this angle.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, this is. I think this is one of the places that I had the most strongest emotions when entering. So this is a theater, or a theater house, or opera house, or you can see it from the photo. This is in Italy, and I think many places in Italy, especially this kind of a large and grandiose buildings, were actually they were put to this kind of a restriction of use because of earthquakes that happened some years ago. So this place was quite big, and you could see a little bit of these cracks in the ceiling. And I think many of these theaters and palaces and places after the Italian earthquakes were like condemned that you cannot use this before renovating it completely or doing some kind of structural renovation. And when you have this kind of a small town and you have this big theater, it might be like a better way to just put the like floors on the door and say it's don't come here.
Oh my God.
Almost unbreathable air. Almost. Small house in countryside.
Yeah. This is like a 2-story house in France. And in the first floor, you will have the windows and doors are open. The windows are broken, and it's kind of a mess. And on the second floor, you will have all the windows closed. Everything is closed. So when you have moist, like rain and weather, the house sucks in the moist through the first floor, and all the moist and the water, when it heats up, it goes to the second floor and it stays there. And this place is kind of like a mold world. There's mold everywhere, and I heard that mushrooms growing, and it's really kind of a disgusting place, but also very photogenic place. And I heard that this place hasn't actually been abandoned for many years. So this formation of this place into this kind of a really moldy house, like it's called, it only took a couple of years by the correct information. But you could really sense the mold and the moist in that second floor. And you will need like a breathing mask to go there.
And anyway, when you are in there with a mask, it takes about 10 minutes, and then you get that feeling to the throat. Italy again.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
This one is actually in restoration now. At that time, somebody has broke into the crypt, and the coffins were empty, and maybe they have still something from there. But as you can see in the front of the photo, it has been broken, the whole floor or the cover of the crypt.
Yeah, this is one of the most famous Italian abandoned churches, and Italy has like hundreds and maybe thousands churches that are abandoned or in a derelict state. This is one of the most famous ones, and in this place, as you could see from the photo, that, like Tanya said, that this crypt was broken into, and everything inside was stolen. And you can see photos dating a couple of years back, that in this place you can see human skulls that are still in the crypt. But somebody broke this crypt and stole the bones. So if you have this kind of idea that grave diggers and this kind of grave robbers was something that happened 100 years ago or way back, it's not true, because grave robbers actually still exist. And this is a place where there has been grave robbers. So if you're trying to purchase some human bones online,
The new generation, the grandson of this video.
yeah.
This is a farmhouse in Italy too.
Oh, there is some bird. Yes.
Yes, that's bird. Not in very good condition, but
Yeah.
there's a story. We have been there only once, so we don't know for certain, but we have heard that sometimes the birds are there and sometimes they are not. I don't know where they go, but maybe they party hard because they aren't so in good condition.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, I think this farmhouse is another example of the earthquake incident, that you will have this kind of big building, and you will have a big building with big structural damage, and you will have some rooms and some parts that are intact. And in this place, you could walk to the second floor, and you will have this nice wide corridor, and then part of this corridor is missing. It just vanished. And this photo was taken from one of those rooms, and you can see that it has a lot of this. You can see this green book on the central lower part, and these old magazines. They are kind of bookkeeping about farming, and this is like a manor house which has a lot of farmland, but it's completely abandoned. But yeah.
Wow.
I was there 3 weeks ago again. This photo was taken 4 years ago, and that piano wasn't there anymore. I don't know what happened to it, and it's certain that this place is abandoned, but somebody maybe...
They use it as art.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Somebody.
The story of this place is actually quite known. You can read it online, and I don't know how much of this story is actually true. But what I've read and what I understood is, in short, that this place, which is in France, it's really big manor house, and it was apparently purchased by Italian couple or an Italian woman years ago. And then it happened something like this, that the family bought this manor house, and they wanted to spend only parts of the year in this place, and then spend another year or another part of the year somewhere else, maybe like in Italy or whatever. So they wanted to spend only like summers here. It was like a summer place. And they had this landlord who was a French guy who was taking care of this manor house like year around. But apparently this landlord, or this kind of a groundskeeper, or like this kind of a guy, he somehow lost it. He went nuts. He had some kind of a mental breakdown or whatever. So when this Italian family was in this place, this groundskeeper started like harassing them. He stole their car and drove it to a tree, and maybe he was stepping inside this place when they were sleeping, and he was like doing all this kind of stuff that this family was really, not okay with. And they apparently tried to fire this groundskeeper, and the guy, he just stayed there. He refused to go, and he has been staying in this small shack in the lands of these manor house, and they had this big years and years of argument about this stuff. And apparently, this Italian family, they said like, "Fuck it, just let it go," and they went back to Italy and left the manor house there, and it's been staying there forever since. And you can see that many of these they left practically everything behind, and I think the piano, somebody maybe somebody stole it. There were some really expensive gold clocks and some paintings and stuff like that. But I think many of those items have been stolen, or the family has drove there and took some items with them. We don't know.
Oh, the piano is here.
No.
We're looking for
It's in Poland now, the piano.
Oh, okay. It was a very far. Oh, what? What's this? Is artificial
What do you
leg.
think that happens? Yeah, what do you think that happens?
You can tell.
How about you? Like, what do you think? What is your impression that you don't know the story of this place or what this place is? What do you think it is?
It
What-
looks
what
like
is your
someone
sensation?
just sit on the chair and this is gonna be just vanished. Like a,
Exactly.
really?
Yeah.
If you look at the photo, if you look at those legs, it's actually the same side leg. So the
Right.
guy, yeah,
Mm.
the guy who had this what is this? Not a spare leg, but like a
Prosthetic.
prosthetic leg. He had one prosthetic leg, and I assume that the another one was perfectly fine or whatever. But he had lost a leg, and our friend has made a really good documentary about this place and the history of this place, because this place is now gone, so you cannot visit it. So our friend Xenia made a documentary about this place, and she has published it on YouTube, and you can see the story about this guy. And if I remember correctly, he was called Henri, like Henry, and if I remember correctly. But you can read the whole story, because our friend really dig into history and find out what happened. And this guy was maybe he was in war or something, but he was living just by himself until he died, and he had been living this simple life in this house. And yeah, it's a old place. You can see items, calendars, books from 1960s from there, and you have this one magnificent view that is the prosthetic leg in this chair. It looks just like you said, like he vanished.
Yeah, because it's more interesting if you can see the frame behind, and it's on the wall. It's small girls on the wall. It's very weird, scary. It's really ridiculous. The stories look like the guy who lost a girl, and he got so sick and
And himself.
yeah. We can make some story about that. Yeah.
This is a hotel from Belgium.
Mm.
Belgium.
Yes.
And Kimmo.
Oh, it's okay. Because we had the same bugs yesterday in Espoo, so maybe it can be here too.
maybe you find something similar.
Yeah. Oh, is it
It is from Romania.
Is it this
And now-
place or hotel? Is it some specific
Casino.
place? Oh, it was a casino.
Yeah, and now it's in restoration, and I guess it will be ready in 1 year or so.
Oh, okay. So, Yeah.
This is from 2017, this photo, and it was totally abandoned then. The restoration started, I guess, 2018, and we were lucky to get in also. It's very beautiful from inside, golden staircases.
And I think this is the last picture. Oh, is it the last one? Is it? What's that?
Is it or is it not? It's the most commented photo of ours, and it raises emotions of people because there's a dog. It's a taxidermy dog.
Oh,
and
so...
many people think that you shouldn't taxidermize the dogs. You can do that with animals, but not with the dogs. Something like that. But it's still they're still guarding. The house is very old. Like there are calendars from 18 and something, 1860, if I remember correctly, and very many items and details from that era and a bit later, and also that dog. And maybe the owner just wanted to keep the memory of the dog.
Yeah, some people are doing that.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting and unique picture, but it just came to my mind, and I promise for me it's going to be the last question. For you, is it any difference, the sense when you're enter the house or the place with it's totally empty, but the other side is still you can see some stuff? Is there any different for you? I mean, not as a photography view, it's about the feeling when you enter the empty house, for example, or still there is a stuff from the last persons or family they are living there.
It's a different feeling. Yeah, and maybe we don't even take so many photos from the places that has a lot of stuff inside, because most of the time it's not so photogenic. There might be a piles of things in the floor, and we might not completely stay without photos. For me, little bit emptier places are better, and I try to find nice structures, staircases, and rooms where have beautiful light at that time of the day, something like that. But we have seen so many houses with a lot of furniture, but not taking any photos.
Okay. Is it the same for you?
Well, I think that people who start taking photos of abandoned places, they will have this goal of finding these places which have all the items, all the furniture inside. And I understand this goal, but also when you go inside this place which has all the items, I think it's very sad. I think there's something sad that this person or persons who lived in this house, they didn't have anybody who would take care of these items, who would clean up, or who would, I would like to know if I would die, someone would take care of my items and would respect them. But these persons, they didn't have anybody, and I find it extremely sad. And also, when you go inside this kind of a house that has old photos, old letters, like wedding pictures, exactly. I think these kind of items would be something that should be somehow saved and not be left to places. And it takes years, but they will get ruined. The house might burn. They will rot these items. It will vandalize gum, and they will put graffiti on these abandoned places. And I think it's very sad to see that these wedding pictures are just useless.
Yes, I have the same feeling about especially the pictures, and just try to transfer myself. Sometimes they were alive, they were just smiling and look at the camera, and yeah, it's interesting. Shabnam, do you have any? Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about these items, and I was about asking a question about you. So, which elements you prioritize to frame the photos, which elements you consider and want to show to the viewer when you are photographing, photo shooting?
Maybe, it's more of the whole room and feeling of the room. If it has a lot of stuff that doesn't give you any background story, it might not be so good. But if you can see a room which has a dining table and everything looks like a dining room, then it will be more interesting than just an odd table somewhere. Yeah. And also if you can tell that, if you can tell for certain that this object was used for that, and it gives you a background of the place, it's the good object. It can be anything. It can be like a sewing machine or, anything.
Yeah, like I think there's in the beginning of this interview, you showed this picture of the place called Lover's House, and you said that like it looks something like you could live inside. You could just go there and live there. So I think that's kind of these photos that look like these places are not so abandoned. There's no mold, or the room is in a pretty good shape. It's not so interesting, but you will have these places. I think you will have these places that are actually like from this show you mentioned, like The Last of Us. So you have this really deep state of abandonment. You will have lots of green, you will have rust, you will have like you can see that there is nature takes over this place. And then you can see some detail, some furniture, something that will tell you what this place used to be. So I think this kind of framing, for me, I think that's the interesting part. And then you will have this kind of you can perhaps the viewer starts to think like, what happened? Is there was there some kind of a collapse of society? What happened? Like stories start to pump up. But if you have two new places, like the place looks, it has been abandoned maybe 1 year ago. Nothing is really giving any story about something happening. It's not so good. But when the stories start to form in the viewer's mind, then I think the photo it's a success.
Yeah, just it's like making a story by himself or herself, or just imagine what happened in the past. So pop up some curiosity and imaginary in the person and create this type of history and story in the mind. And I have, it will be my final question. It might be many people that are interested to this type of photography. Do you suggest any resources or community they can join and get benefit of that?
Or how they can contact you or find you?
Yeah, their channel, they can communicate.
Do you mean that how do people find us, or how do they find their place in this community?
No,
Yeah, you.
you, and if you have if you know some kind of the community or the society, this kind of the group they're working.
Is it any society that they are dedicated for this type of photography? If not, how they can connect to you and get some resources and information?
We don't share any information about the locations.
No, not location.
At first, yeah, but otherwise, we can be reached through the Instagram most easily, like in couple minutes. That's the form that we use all the time. Of course, we have the our website too, but we don't
mention it
go there as often. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but through the Instagram.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, any question about the photos are always welcome, and we will tell more if needed. But we don't share any location.
No, not. Is there any kind of the communication
no.
or the organization that some kind of the people with the same favorite topics they're gonna gather together and share the information, something like that? Or you don't?
Urban, yeah.
Maybe
Urban exploring is kind of lonely wolves stuff to do. There are communities, but we don't share places to each other either. We go to the place and we try to find all the information that we need to find the place, and it takes a lot of time and it's hard, and we don't share places very easily. And of course, we are connected to other people who are photographing abandoned buildings, and we comment the photos and ask about the places, but not the location, just about details. If we have already find one location that we are going and we know that somebody else has been there too, we might ask, is there anything that we need to consider when approaching the building? Something like that we might ask.
Yeah, exactly. This type of information, like technical information, and so
yeah,
that it can help them.
And because this is quite many people are doing this and taking photos of abandoned places. We sometimes meet other photographers there in the spot, which is always quite nice. We can kind of see the people that we have followed like 5 years, and then they are there in flesh, and they feel opposites around, like happened a couple of weeks ago, and it's always very nice. Oh, it's you, and oh, it's you, kind of feeling.
Interesting.
Kind of it's a very interesting community because, there's a lot of people doing this, right? People who have been doing this for a long time. There isn't so many people who have been doing this. So I think that many people who have been doing this for a long time know each other through their photos, but have never met. So this, like Tanya mentioned, that if we go into a spot and we see or meet someone, we might know them, but only after we've asked, like, who are you on Instagram, or like, who are you there and there. And it's very funny to discuss this activities or this hobby with somebody who is doing it as well, because we have the stories are the same, and what happened to us in this spot happened to another person on that spot, and you will have this weird niches and weird stuff that you do, and you will meet, okay, like, how do you do this, and they will tell you like the exact same thing that how they did it on somewhere else. And it's a weird, like, this global virtual online community which has no leadership and shouldn't have or anything else. It's kind of this, everybody does the same thing, and everybody's having the same problems and issues and feelings and good emotions and like the thrill of this stuff. But still we usually don't see anybody else on this spot. It's kind of a lonely hobby.
Yeah, and it's always nice to see somebody, because we are doing this quite a lot and quite passionate, and sometimes we question our things, and we might have ethical issues or something like that, and we are kind of thinking that why we are doing this. Is there any sense of doing this? And then you see someone else in the spot, and then when you see how excited they are, and that they are doing the same thing, driving around the whole country and checking a spot after another, and when you see that passionate in them, you remember that what it means to you also.
Interesting.
So it always makes like it much better.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, and it was a very enjoyable for me, and probably it's gonna be interesting for the other people still watching us. just want to say thank you. Kiitos paljon. And I hope, yeah, I hope you. Kiitos. Kiitos, it's been thank you, Chabla. Finish.
Thank you so much. So I'm saying that obrigada in Portuguese. Yes, and so I hope to see you in the future projects. So I myself, I'm going to follow your channels and on Instagram, following your projects.
We will mention we will mention the address by this video. If they are interested, they can find you and they have a contact, but they're not gonna give you the address. So don't don't ask about that. So I hope to enjoy this today.
Yes,
I hope it's kind of and I hope to see you again. And thank you a lot for your time. I hope to see you again. And thanks everyone for watching us. Please subscribe. And if you are that kind of if you have some activities going to relate to the photography or video editing, so you can contact us and you can be our guest. Thank you again and have a nice day and hope to see you again.